What's up, guys? Ryan with Athix Fitness here, and we're on the last episode of Vegan Fitness 101. I know, I'm sorry, it went so quickly. I'm gonna miss you guys, man. But episode 11, we're talking joint pain, injury prevention, working around injuries, recovery, rehab, all these things. So let's just get right into it. So first of all, proper warm-ups every workout is going to be very important. A lot of people like to do static stretching before workouts, and this has been shown to actually increase your risk of injury. So definitely don't do static stretching, hard static stretching pre-workout. Consider things like dynamic stretching, like leg swings or something. Basically any stretching that involves continuous movement. So you could do something like toe touches, but just keep moving through that range of motion back and forth, and don't try to stretch too hard. With static stretching, people really try to reach as far as they can for like something like a toe touch or something, and that can actually increase the risk of injury. So don't do that. If you want to do static stretching, then maybe you can incorporate after workout, just for like, if it makes you feel good or something, you can do it after a workout, but try to stick with dynamic stretching before a workout. Also, just getting your heart rate up a little bit may help. I actually like to do this just by doing more warm-ups of my main exercise for the day. So if I'm doing squats first up, I'll just do several sets with just the bar and just start getting moving, and that really increases your blood flow a lot. That just helps you kind of warm up a little bit, start sweating, feel a little more like mobile and ready to go. So those are some practices that I personally like. The most important thing for injury prevention that I've found over the years is if you feel anything off at all, stop immediately. So if you have like a little pop in your back or something when you're doing squats, or your shoulder feels a little bit weird, like particularly weird after doing one set or something, or you feel any sort of pops, any sort of clicks or anything that make you feel a little bit suspect, definitely just back off right away. Don't push it. A lot of people out there, like in their early 20s and stuff, I know I did, I just trained right through those nagging injuries or something, or like those little pops or clicks, and I highly regretted it in the future. Definitely make sure to be training with proper form too. That's also extremely important, obviously. So video, like record yourself from the side. That's going to really help you with form. Things like squats and deadlifts and stuff especially. Your back is pretty prone to injury overall. Record yourself from the side, record yourself from the front and the back. Make sure your form is spot on. I think injury prevention is going to be the most important thing for long-term progress. If you literally can't train the way that you want to when you're like 30, 35, or older, then that's just terrible. No one wants to be confined to a wheelchair or something like Ronnie Coleman when you're that old, just from training too hard. Be careful with your form. Never risk adding more weight to the bar at the expense of form breakdown. It's just not worth it overall, especially in terms of hypertrophy and muscle growth. So my advice is if you're on like set 2 or something and you feel like your shoulder pop weird or something, just stop and do something else, or just even move on for the day. Just missing one training session where you're missing a few sets isn't going to hurt anything long term. See how things feel the next workout. If you keep pushing that and all of a sudden you're set back weeks at a time because you can't train your bench press, that's going to suck way more. If you're starting to develop a lot of nagging injuries, a lot of joint pain, things like that, you may just be accruing too much fatigue over time. So incorporating a deload can be really helpful for these nagging injuries, like joint pain. Sometimes when you give your body a little break, all of a sudden you feel much better, much more renewed, invigorated, and ready to kind of like tackle those movements again. Tendinitis is really common. A lot of times those will resolve pretty quickly from just giving yourself a little bit of time off. Also, rotating movements. So if you've been doing the same movement for too long, it's very similar. So if you're doing something like a wide grip bench press and you're developing shoulder pain just because it's putting a lot of pressure on your shoulder and you know it's from the bench press, consider swapping that out to something like a close grip bench press, or even like a machine bench press or a dumbbell bench press or something that puts a little less pressure on your shoulders. You can still get a good stimulus for your chest this way, just with less pressure on your shoulders. If you are injured or you have any sort of risky areas or something, let's say your shoulders again in this case, try to work around it. So in the case that I just specified with going from a wide grip bench press to a close grip bench press, for example, try to be preemptive with this and find those injuries where they could happen down the line, like whatever feels a little bit risky, and change things early. So make that change to a close grip bench press early. Stick with that. You're still going to get great growth. And then when you feel like that area is feeling better again, maybe you can go back to the wide grip bench press. Another example for me personally was pulling from the floor. So deadlifting from the floor. Just due to having bad form when I first started deadlifting, I developed some lower back pain. Couldn't deadlift for a while. So I came back by doing the RDLs, which is basically just starting from the top position and lowering yourself slowly down to just a little below your knees. So you're not going as low as the floor. You're still putting a lot of tension in your hamstrings and your lower back and such. That decreased range of motion kept my back much safer, and kind of focusing on that eccentric more, really controlling things, I was able to really build that RDL back up and just get just as much growth as I would have just from doing deadlifts. It's very important to return to training post-injury as quickly as you can, in my opinion. I just want to very much stress this. I do not mean add a lot of weight right away. I recommend working with just the bar, maybe even less, as soon as possible. So if you have a back injury, for example, take a few days off the gym, obviously, until things start to feel a tiny bit better. Then when you get back in there, maybe grab the 5-pound dumbbells, maybe nothing at all, and just go through that hip hinge movement very slowly and safely. Try to activate those muscles using like a dynamic tension technique. Just squeeze them as you go through the motion, and just slowly do that week after week. Maybe slowly add 5 pounds here and there where you can. Don't push it at all though. Go very slow with this, but the important thing is to go through that range of motion safely and try to target those muscles. If you feel any sort of pain, any sort of discomfort that you know is risky, then just stop right away. A lot of times you can kind of build up slowly over time. Even without having any weight on the bar or anything, you can still activate those muscles to a degree, which would stop muscle loss actually pretty effectively. So that's another benefit there. As for general recovery practices outside of the scope of rehab, just general training recovery, there's a lot of ineffective practices out there that are marketed as being these holy grails. Things like ice baths and such, saunas, things like that. There's really no research saying that that helps at all for recovery or joint pain or anything at all. If you like it, then obviously go for it. Be my guest. Be our guest, be our guest, be our guest. But there's really no evidence saying that those things help specifically. Your best bet is probably just, if you're cutting, just stop cutting, go into maintenance calories. That helps a lot with recovery overall. Also, improve your sleep quality obviously will help improve recovery. So things like adding a sleep mask or something while you sleep, having blackout curtains, sleeping on a more comfortable bed. These can help improve your sleep quality, which can really help you feel better overall and recover better from session to session. There's some supplements like melatonin, for example, valerian root, which are apparently good for improving sleep. That might be something that you want to try experimenting with. Might be worth a shot. That's pretty much everything for this. Just nice and quick here. Just some basic principles to go by for general rehab and recovery and such. So this was the last episode, and if you guys like this series, please subscribe to me. Please like, comment, share, whatever. Anything really helps. I appreciate you guys so much for watching this and trusting me to educate you on these things. And obviously these are things that I really love, and I hope you learned a lot from this. Thank you guys so much for watching this series, and I'll see you guys in the next series, whenever that is, whatever that's going to be. Drop your comments if you have suggestions. All right, see you guys. Peace out.